new friends. I'd like you to meet Liviu Babitz. Liviu.
Hello.
Who is many things. You are an entrepreneur and you are a cyborg.
I am, and very excited to be here as well.
Yes, me too.
Are you guys excited to be here?
They are, but they're a bit...
Yeah. That's nice.
They are, but if they're like me, they might be a little bit puzzled about you being a cyborg.
Well, let me tell you something.
Are you the only cyborg I know?
Every single person in this crowd, including yourself, we are all cyborgs. I have a question. How many of you people remember all their phone numbers by heart, everyone that they know? Is there any person like that?
Our own phone numbers or other people's phone numbers?
That is other people's phone numbers. No. That is because we offloaded part of our brain and our memory into that smartphone that is part of us. So we are all part technology long time ago. So we are all humans and we are all human cyborgs. So I'm not the only one. We are all the same.
Okay, but you're the only Liviu that I know. Take it away. See you later.
Welcome to this blog, which is about us, humans, and what that means to us. Because we have the power, we drive our future and everything. And before we start, I have one question, and I want to hear a very clear answer. If you had one chance, one opportunity to seize everything that humanity needed in the future, would you take that chance? Would you take that chance if you had one chance? I know that I would. Would you guys do that? Yes. I want to hear it stronger. Yes. Amazing. Guys, I need a thing for the... Yes, thank you. So I'm going to split this talk into two. And first I'm going to explain you a bit how I understand what human and how I understood throughout my life what human means. I was born behind the Iron Wall in Eastern Europe, and as a small child, it looked like it never gonna end. It looked like this is it, and not only to me, but to everybody around us. It just looked like we are so small, so powerless, nothing's gonna change, and that's it. And then one day, one person after another, they all went on the streets and shouted, "Revolution, revolution, revolution." And guess what? That wall broke. That wall was not there anymore. And remember this slide, because we here together, we have the power and we can make the change if we decide to do so. And if we go together, and if we do stuff together, nothing can really stop us. The first time that the world was made aware of my existence was when we moved to Israel after the revolution, where I grew up. And unfortunately, my parents and myself had to squat into a house and to live without electricity and gas for a few months. So suddenly there was a story in the media and I appeared on the Israeli newspapers. Now I'm not saying that because I feel pity, or anyone should feel pity about what's happening in their life. I'm saying that because each and every one of us stand in these moments every second. Some water, guys? Stand in these junctions every day, where we can decide we either hate everything that's happening to us, or we just take what's happening and we make the best out of it. And I looked at my parents during that moment when those things happened, and I looked at them fighting and not giving up and making it big time. So I knew how this world should work and how things should happen. Growing up in Israel in the 90s, where, as you probably guys know, Israel is a very high-techy country, and everything was happening technology-wise. Suddenly there was internet, there was access to everything. It was like taking over everything, and I'm like, whoa, there is an opportunity here. It's a big power. It's a big something that we can take together and harness it to make change and to make revolutions. So the second time the world was made aware of my existence was a few years after, when I had the huge privilege to be the CEO of an amazing organization called Videre Scredere. And we live in a world where we have Twitter and Instagram and all that, and we all think that we know absolutely everything that's happening out there. But we are very wrong. There are endless places in the world where there are people making sure that people that live in those places, their voices are not heard. So we don't know anything that's happening there. And with Videre, I worked undercover for 5 years. And we build international undercover networks of people that use technology to document some of the things that are happening in those places that we don't know what's happening out there. And you've all seen footage from these places. And it all happened because we had the tools and we had the technology and we used it in the right way. And then, when I finished that work, I realized that we live in the Leonardo da Vinci era. That's how I call it today. We all have so many abilities. We all have so many knowledge about so many things that are happening in the world. The internet helps us. The technology helps us. So we need to open our minds and to think, okay, what am I doing next? And then I remember the moment that I was walking in London in a park and the coin dropped. And it went, everything that we ever created, thought or felt, started from a sensory input. Everything that you guys have in the box on our shoulders came through one of your senses. You saw something, you tasted something, you smelled something, you touched something. And that is how we create, that is how we feel, that is how we have thoughts. So then I was like, wait, but if we will have more senses as humans, can we start thinking, creating, and feeling from places that we never did before as a species, to expand the way that we understand reality? That was not a thought that I could just turn around and go have another sandwich. So I went for it. Because this is you, this is your brain, this is us, and everything here. You know, for hundreds of years, we've been hearing people saying that the human brain has so many more opportunities, abilities, but nobody came with a solution until we came. And since then, the whole science world is like, oh my God, you guys have a solution. And the reason, the place that it connects to this conference is that I have a very simple equation, and keep that in mind. If you sense something, you understand something. And if you understand something, only then you can respect that thing. You cannot respect something, we cannot respect the planet if we don't understand it. And we cannot understand it if we cannot sense it. So if we have more senses and we are connected to what's happening out there better, we will have much more respect and we will act. So we founded Cyborg Nest, a company that aims and creates new sensory experiences for humans. Today we are releasing to the market our new product called Centero that doesn't use any type of technology that you guys are used to. So it has 0 buttons, 0 lights, and 0 screens. It uses touch because it's our most emotive sense, and this is how we transfer new types of information to the world, and we work with blind people, with autistic people, with the metaverse, because we need to humanize that place, that metaverse. We cannot let them make it a pixel experience. It has to be an experience for humans, and we are going to do that. So there is no fear from technology. We shouldn't be afraid of technology. We should be afraid of some people that don't understand how to use that technology. And why is it here for? Technology didn't do anything bad to anyone. It saved so many lives. It is people and companies, and after myself, there will be an amazing speaker speaking about those bash companies, let's call them. So it's education that we need to focus on. Because we are moving from an era of doing to an era of being. In an era of doing, you were born 100 years ago, and if you were lucky to be born to someone with money, then you had a great life. But if not, as a child, you would end up working in a factory. And today, because of technology, so many people, doesn't matter what you have, it's enough that you have an internet connection. And you can dream, and you can be that person that you want to be. But the question is, how are we making sure that everybody on this planet will actually do the way that it should be done? What are those values? And for that, I want to invite my friend that is legally blind, one of the most successful lawyers in the US. And if you ask some of the most influential people in the world, he is the one person that founded Unblinded, which is a school for integrity human influence. Guys, please welcome Sean Callaghy.
What's up, brother?
Sean,
Okay. Thank you.
we are good friends,
Yes, sir.
but I never asked you a question that I'm going to ask you now. How, in a world where we are creating new senses, we are creating new technologies, there is fear. How are we dealing with that?
Yeah, well, thank you, Liviu, and thank you for having me here. So it begins with the question of how we handle fear, I believe, with what is influence. And influence is our ability, which has been discussed from the beginning of today through the end of tonight, to take an idea, something inside of us, and transfer from our mind, our heart, our soul to someone else, have it received and acted upon. And somebody out there could say, well, I understand this, but some of the greatest atrocities in human history have been created by people who've used that power of influence to do wrong, to do harm, to do evil. And at the same time, every single thing, every problem in the history of the world that has ever been solved has been solved starting with that superpower of influence overcoming the fear of other people. So influence is neither good nor bad, nor positive nor negative. Inherently, it is a human technology. And that human technology becomes integrous when intentions are transparent and we are doing more good, adding more value than we are receiving. We vote for the bifurcation, the destruction of the concept that we can't both create sustainability by adding and receiving value and in being in our hearts. So my brother, that's the beginning of how that works. And just recently, as somebody who at the age of 5, my mother found out I was going blind. I am blind, I can't see a single thing in this building. And at that point, my family, people told me that my destiny was set, that my life would be one of limitation, and I am not a motivational speaker. I'm a speaker of truth and reality who've built businesses and scaled them with some of the most influential people in this country, in the country of America, and in the world. And recently, I had the privilege on a Sunday of being in the Ukraine on a day that a missile flew over Kyiv. And that missile flew over, I asked myself, why am I here? My kids, my family is like, what are you doing in the Ukraine, in Kyiv, as missiles are flying overhead on a Sunday? Well, 3 weeks later, with the people that I went there with, they asked me to speak on their stage at an event much smaller than this, 300 people were there, and said, would you try to raise $200,000 for Ukraine relief? And we raised $2.6 million without more than 5% of the room having $1 million net worth, and certainly no deca millionaires in the room. That, I believe, ladies and gentlemen, is the idea of sustainability. And Liviu, the superpower of influence, is a science with steps and indispensable elements and energies. But I love to engage this group. Since I can't see them, and if I ask them yes or no questions, I can't gauge the response. So would you oblige this poor blind man up on this stage with a little bit of vocal yes? Would that be okay with you? Can I hear you say yes?
Yes. Let's go.
I wasn't that obliged. Can I hear you say yes? Yes. One more time. Can you rise to your feet and feel and create sustainable energy? Because if you're here, it is because you want more of some sort, and that more is a change in the world. If you want some positive change in the world, that's why you came here. It isn't motivation or inspiration. You will be hit from every conceivable direction with people telling you you can't, it won't work, it won't happen. And if you are prepared to overcome that and want to learn and understand how to do that mentally and in your superpower of integrous influence, say yes. Yes. Say yes.
Yes.
Let's step in one more time to our heart. Can you, Liviu, and everyone out there, just make the sound of love in your heart? On 3, make the sound of love. 1, 2, 3. A little bit deeper in your heart, because everything you want to convey, all the problems and challenges and issues in the world are solved either by leadership that will cause people to do things that are sustainable, that are reproducible, that make incredible things happen, or not. Liviu, do you agree?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
We came here to and as we said in the beginning of my talk, people have the power, and we are not here just to talk. We want to do. We want to engage this crowd, these amazing people, into action.
Yes.
How do we do that?
The way we do that is by understanding that all change is rooted in and continues through the superpower of influence. And when Liviu and the amazing organizers of this event said, would you come and travel across the pond and support these people in a way, I said, no, not if all we're going to do is talk. And if you would like to do more than talk, can I please get one more yes? Yes. One more yes? Yes. We have an offering, a gift for you that costs you nothing. That the people at this event that we raised $2.6 million from contributed everything from $10,000 to 5 people at $250,000. And we would like to give you that gift for nothing, because if we have nothing to land in, to come together as an ecosystem tomorrow, then nothing happens. And that is by emailing
the word love
to please,
hello@unblindedhumantech.com. Now don't wait. Don't do it tomorrow. Don't try to remember. Take your phone out now and just email the word love, because we are here to love, and we are here to do, and we are here to engage on a mission.
Yes. And that is hello@unblindedhumantech.com for you to get 30 days training in the superpower of influence, because if we do not have the superpower of influence, this event doesn't happen. And when this event ends, nothing else happens. And if we want to be the day, in our final 10 seconds, take out your phone and email now. And if not this, then what do you do the next day? Because in all of your fundraising for charity, leadership, management, recruiting, marketing efforts, and sales efforts, all of it begins with that superpower of influence. And I have the privilege of influencing people of influence around the world to give tens of millions of dollars and to cause massive acceleration for good. And that's why you're here. That's why I'm here. It has been an honor to serve you. Just for a moment, thank you. Liviu, back to you.
Thank you so much, John Kalagi.
Thank you.